Well, Austin, we'll leave Ukraine now and quickly talk about other issues going on across the world, especially when it comes to women's football. I mean, you talk about a special guest we'll be having tonight, and you didn't want to let the cats out of the bag. Should I do that for you right now, or you want to do it?
Let me give you the honors because you are a big proponent of women's football, particularly in Nigeria. So, Cecilia, it's over to you.
All right. Our special guest this evening, of course, is someone everybody in Nigeria actually know about, especially the dance step that she gave to the Nigerians that came to watch the game between the Super Falcons of Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. I'm talking about Ashley Plumptre. She will be joining us this evening to tell us, I mean, what it was like to make her debut for Nigeria. Yes, she switched allegiance like 2 months ago, right? So she's joining us tonight to talk more about playing for Nigeria and, of course, the hope of Super Falcons winning the Africa Women's Cup of Nations for a record 10 times. Ashley, how are you doing? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
It's great to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to join.
It's great. Now, you happen to be the most, yes, we know, everyone in Nigeria know Asisa Toshola. Yes, you have to say Akbara Noze, you're Francisca Odega. But then, right now, you happen to be the most popular Super Falcons player right now in the country, in Nigeria. Do you know that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, when I was out there, I got a lot of warm welcomes and people are sending me really nice messages. But yeah, I've obviously always seen the likes of Oshuala and Franny being in the limelight, and I never really expected that to be me.
Great. So what was it like playing in Nigeria for the first time? Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, no, it's one thing that I've wanted to be able to do for a while now. It's funny because my sister always wanted to come with me for the first time, but obviously going with the national team, I went by myself. My dad went when he was younger, but hasn't been back in years. So when I first went, it was all new to me. I mean, my granddad goes back all the time, but until I actually go myself, I didn't really know, what to expect. Like what the welcome was going to be like, where I was going to stay, even like culturally, like being in Nigeria is different to being around Nigerian family here. But yeah, it was all a really good experience, and every little thing, even though it seems like really minuscule in terms of some of the things that I was taking in, it was all big to me. Just, the environment, the weather, all of it.
Awesome, Ashley. Let me say welcome to you. Good to have you on the show once again. And you're so beautiful, Ashley. I just wonder how you do the beast mode, and when you get on the football pitch, you're something else. How do you do that switch?
Do you know what? I think I always have it in me, but obviously when I speak to you, I'm quite a smiley person, but when it comes to being on the pitch, I guess I bring out my physical side. I guess, it's my Nigerian side.
I know. We like it. So let's go back to the very beginning. How difficult was it for you to choose Nigeria over England?
Yeah, so obviously I played for England growing up, like youth age groups, but I feel like for me, my purpose in football has changed as I've grown. Like my journey has become a little bit different, and the reason why I play has changed as well. As much as I love playing football, I say this to people, and I've publicised this, I like to play for a purpose and a reason, and I know the impact that I can have by delving into my heritage more and representing another side of me that people aren't always familiar with. So for me, it wasn't just as much as it is about football, it's what I can bring as a person, what I'm passionate about, and what I can represent more so than just myself.
Interesting.
Before I hand it over to... Okay, no, Cecilia.
Austin is okay. Yeah, carry on. All right, okay. I was going to ask you...
back to Cecilia. Yeah. You had the sort of debut performance that most footballers dream of. That first leg against Cote d'Ivoire in Abuja, the love you received from the fans, the sort of performance you put. Were you under any form of pressure How did you come about that sort of performance on your official debut match?
Yeah, I don't really know how I managed to deal with it. I've got to be honest, before the game, like in the hotel and even on the bus on the way to the game, I was like in tears because of how overwhelming the experience was. And that's before I even played. I think people almost like, they see you when you play and they see you after, but they don't actually see the whole build up. I'm quite an emotional person anyway, and I feel things quite deeply, and I knew how special that moment was for me. So going up into the game, I just tried to settle my nerves and focus on one thing, and just for me it was just doing my job on the pitch, and not trying to get too sidetracked by anything else that could have distracted me, because I knew the importance of the big game. I knew people were going to be watching, but ultimately I can only focus on the performance I put in at that time.
Yeah, interesting. And of course, because of that performance for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, you had to break into the top 10 when it comes to women's ranking in the month of February. How does that make you feel?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, again, it's a surprise. Everything that's kind of come my way so far is a surprise. At the end of the day, I'm there to do a job, and I enjoyed the experience I've had so far, and being able to qualify for, the Nations Cup is just, wow. It's all come quite fast, to be honest. I don't really think, even like since coming home, I haven't had a lot of time to reflect on, I guess, the successes I've had. But yeah, at the minute, I don't feel like I'm at my best. I'm trying to be in the environment as much as I'm lucky to get called in. I want to be in the environment to learn and grow and get better. So especially the people you've mentioned already, like Asisat, there's so many players who aren't necessarily even big names, but I learn from a lot just by being around them. I mean, I think there's so many, I like to emphasize this, there's so many players that, don't necessarily get the attention, but I'm learning from them. And it just happens though that I'm getting the limelight, I guess, at the minute.
Yeah, interesting, of course, for your club, the period you were with Nigeria, I mean, one of the games your club lost like 7-0 because you were not there. And I don't know how you feel when you get back and, that kind of result. Because I know Leicester is trying to avoid relegation, 12-league team, the Women's Super League in England. You know how hard it is. I mean, you've tried as much as possible to ensure that your club will avoid a relegation. What is it like right now, for Leicester women?
Yeah, it's tough, You obviously, for me, I haven't actually managed to go back into my environment at Leicester yet since returning from Abuja. I came back and have struggled with a stomach bug, so I haven't been able to go into the environment. But yeah, it's tough being in that situation, because I guess you're under pressure all the time. So for me, like we know that our main goal is to not get relegated, but we don't want to be focused on that and going into every game just thinking like we can't lose, or we have to get a result, because ultimately, and I felt this, it takes away the enjoyment of being able to play the game and to perform your best, because all you're focused on is the result. So yeah, for us, it's now we've got some good results and we're starting to play with a bit more confidence. I'm hoping that just stays the same now, and we kind of, even if we are, not backed by a bad result, it's not something that should completely knock us off the momentum we've been building already. So yeah, and I guess being in Abuja as well, like being with the national team, I can bring that, and I guess the confidence I've had being away with the national team, going back into club, I can bring that there and hopefully be a bit of a spark at club level as well.
Actually, I got talking to your dad before I reached out to you, and he kept going on and on about your passion for football. I asked him one question, and he said, Austin, when you speak to Ashley, ask her. So let me ask you, why did you choose football? Just look at you. Why football?
That is I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I actually was always one of those kids that grew up playing like every sport. I just wanted to be active. Like I played tennis a lot when I was younger. I played netball a lot. I did a lot of sports, but football was the one I stuck at because, one, I enjoyed it the most. and two, it was probably the one I was like the best at when I was younger. And then, yeah, I just stuck at it because I started playing when I was about 4. So it was the only thing I really knew. And I almost got in a routine of playing when I was younger. I just knew that I had training twice a week. I had games and at the weekend. And like I said before in one of your questions, the meaning to why I play has changed as I've grown up. I love playing football, but ultimately I love competing, and I love what sport overall brings to me and the people around me. So for me, it's it's just something I've stuck with because of what it brings out of me.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Ashley, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Interesting. I mean, talking about that, yes, success, follows football. The respect and everything you get that comes with sport is a whole lot. And now, we know the Super Falcons will be in Morocco in July. And of course, all eyes will obviously be on you. I mean, the centre-back, the contribution you've made, especially in the qualifiers. What will be your target for the Super Falcons? Because in Nigeria right here, we know, I mean, everyone, whenever they are going for any championships at all, I mean, Super Falcons will have to win. There's nothing, there's no second choice. The first choice is win, the second choice is win, the third choice is come home with the title. So it's always like that. So for you, what would be a target for you? Because obviously you're going to be part of the team in July.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's to win then. I'm thinking actually. Yeah, obviously Nigeria has the longest run of winning these kind of championships, and there is the expectation that we have to perform and we have to be successful. And I'm under no illusion that that is the expectation going into it. And ultimately, that's what I aim for. I don't just play football just to be there. Obviously, I haven't even as well joined in the Super Falcons. My biggest fear was to join, and as much as it's nice to be loved now by the fans and the people of Nigeria. I don't just want to be there just to be there, because that's not enough for me. Like, I want to contribute, and in any way that I can contribute, I would love to be able to continue and sustain the success that the Super Falcons have had previously. So that's all I'm here to do. I'm adding to the team. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm not cementing my place in there because I have a right to. I have to still earn my place, and hopefully with not just on the pitch stuff, I hope that I bring, I'm also bringing a different culture to them, and I can speak to players and coach and staff and anybody I interact with in a way that kind of brings more camaraderie together. That, do you know what? I've never been on a team that has as much camaraderie as the team currently. It's great to be around.
Actually, let's talk about the second leg in Abidjan. How difficult was that game, and how did you ladies manage to stay together as a team and went on to achieve victory?
Yeah, it was tough because we knew the pressure of going, obviously, to the away leg. You have to deal with other things. So, the fans of Côte d'Ivoire, that's different than what we had, obviously, being in Abuja. And then we knew that they would come out with a force because they had to make up the deficit that, they'd already left from the first leg. And I got to be honest, I felt a different kind of nerves like going into that game, because I knew we just needed to come out with a result that would make us win on aggregate. So my first game, it was like the pressure of it being my first game. The second game was, okay, first game's out of the way, it's now making sure that we get this over the line so that we do qualify. And yeah, it was stressful. It wasn't the nicest game of football I've played. It was a little bit stressful for both teams. I think we didn't connect very well as much as we would have liked to, but ultimately we fought more than, that's one thing I respect about these players that I'm around, is they will put their body on the line to make sure that they get a result. And as a defender, you want a clean sheet, and to be able to get that in 2 really competitive matches for the qualification of a big tournament, I mean, that's all we could ask for, really.
Awesome. Ashley, your fans are telling me to ask you this question. how Nigerian are you? What Nigerian food have you tried? What Nigerian music do you listen to? Let's begin with the food.
Yeah, so do you know what? I'm still getting there. I've got to be honest, my stomach's still trying to get used to some food because honestly, when I came back, I was struggling. But I said this on my first camp when I went out there. I wanted to try everything because I don't normally have it. You know, at home I'm used to having more like British cuisines. As much as my stepmom cooks Nigerian food, and I have it with my family here. It's different than having it in Nigeria. So my favorite food is moi moi, which I've had a lot of bad press about that because people are like, moi moi, really? But honestly, I love it. I don't know if it's just because my stepmom makes it really well or my aunties make it really well, but I love moi moi. And it also isn't too spicy. Although when I was in Nigeria, I didn't think any of the food was too spicy for me. Like my stepmom makes it more spicy with the Scotch bonnet. She uses way too many Scotch bonnets, but yeah, moi moi is my favourite. Obviously, jollof rice. My stepmom makes really good like fish soup as well. I know you're asking me about soups, but my stepmom's made fish soup. I couldn't really take the hot pepper soup when I was in Nigeria. That was a little bit hot, but yeah.
You listen to
no plantain like you can get it in Nigeria. Honestly, the best plantain I had was in Nigeria. I can't get it like that here.
Okay. Okay, Cecilia.
Before we let you go, I mean, you play for Leicester women, and Leicester for the men, we've got Demola Lukman, we have Kelechi Iheanacho, we have Wilfred Ndidi. How close are you with these guys?
You know what? I haven't met Lukman or Ndidi. I only recently met Kelechi because we did it's only just come out, like an interview with one of it. It was kind of like a game. So that was nice. He's exactly like what you see him like on TV is exactly what he's like in person. He's just very real, you know, very funny, laid back. So that was really nice to do. He actually had training right after that, so I didn't get to speak to him much, but he asked me like where I was, you know, staying when I was going away, like recently with this camp, and he wished me good luck for the games. So hopefully, yeah, in the coming months, we can have more of an interaction, but it's hard because we train at different facilities, so we don't bump into each other a lot.
All right, your nickname quickly before we go. The nickname that your teammates have given you at Super Falcons camp. Do you have anyone?
Nicknames. Honestly, not really. Most people just call me Ash.
Okay, because I've heard what Nigerian Oyibo. I mean, that's what I heard, but I don't know how true that is. Well, Ashley, I want to thank you so much for taking our time to talk to us on sports tonight.
Yes, thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us. All right, we need to go on a break. We'll be back after this.